Yes, big talking point. The Australian Kangaroos is in, and there's no Kalyn Ponga, no Reece Walsh, and no Dylan Edwards. I know people keep put Dylan Edwards behind those two, but he has been outstanding, and he's been robbed again. He can play a lot of positions as well, but no Kalyn Ponga, Reece Walsh as well. Absolutely unbelievable. But outside of that, the rest of the team is pretty much right your own ticket. They deserve it. So, without further ado, what's my biggest shock? Cherry Evans. To be honest, why is he even in the team? He doesn't provide anything else but the number 7 jersey, pretty much. He could play 14, but he only plays 7, and they've already got Ben Hunt in the squad. So if worst comes to worst, Ben Hunt could go to 7. Now, yeah, to me, it just the balance of the team's not there. To me, he could have easily had a Kalyn Ponga in that position, clearly to play more positions and cover James Tedesco. Because now, who's going to play if James Tedesco goes down? Well, obviously they'll probably go with Valentine Holmes. But it makes their backline maybe not so strong. So it's a bit of a question mark over the squad as maybe their backline. I mean, it's still good enough, but it's probably not the strongest. You can't argue about the forward pack. Can't argue at all. It's a very, very strong forward pack. So the squad was named, but I put a team together might be 17 out of these players. Obviously, to me, I would have Kalyn Ponga, but where does Kalyn Ponga play in the team? People would say fullback. The same with Reece Walsh. You could argue they could both play fullback instead of Tedesco. It's not to be this year anyway. I can't see it being lasting much longer though. There's got to be a change there, I think. And they might find out this year if they don't get it done. But if Cleary plays the way he has, they should be all over Red Rover, because I don't see New Zealand or Samoa competing with this. Well, I do in the back line. It's a bit concerning if I was going to be honest with the Australian team, but their props are the best in the comp. And there's going to probably be some unlucky players not even make the 17. That's how illustrious the Australian team is. So, fullback will be James Tedesco. That's a pretty obvious one. Gets a bit contentious after that. But I'm assuming Valentine Holmes will be playing. So if he plays, he's centre. And I thought his centre partner might be Kotoni Staggs. You could have the Hammer in there. But I'm going to put Kotoni Staggs there with Adokar and Hammer on the wingers. Now, you can easily put Hammer with Kotoni Staggs and bring Sal and Cobbo onto the wing. So that's just purely option, and that could be the way they go. I'm not sure, but I think the Cowboys selection together might be what gets over the line there. The halves are pretty simple. Cameron Munster and Nathan Cleary. Does Cherry even kill a game in this competition? That's my question mark, because he's not going to make the 17. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Maybe they will just have him for one game, maybe against Samoa. I'm not sure. I don't even know who the weaker team is. To be honest, it could be New Zealand, could be the weakest team. They're just not. Johnson pulling out, Jerome Hughes under injury cloud. So even if he does play, so question marks over the Kiwis as well. But and obviously Nathan Cleary is going to be 7. Simple as that. Props is a contentious one, because there's probably 4 props that could be starting. Could even argue 5. But I'll go for Tino and Payne Haas. I think that's just, to me, makes the most sense. Ben Hunt, number 9. Cameron Murray, 11 with Liam Martin at 12, and Isaiah Yeo at 13. I think that's the way they'll end up going, because I think, they can just put Patrick Carrigan on the bench, even though easily could swap him around. I'm not saying this is my actual team. I probably would put Carrigan instead of Isaiah Yeo, but then Isaiah Yeo will probably get the nod. Harry Grant, Tommy Flegler, Patrick Carrigan, and Ruben Cotter gets my bench spot. That's leaving out Trebojevic, Lindsay Collins, who would be unlucky not to get a game. Daly Cherry Evans, I don't see him as much of a chance. And Sal and Cobbo is a chance of playing clearly. Just depends on who they decide is the other centre. That'll make the prediction probably whether he plays or not. If it's a Hammer, he'll play. And it could easily be Hammer, so don't get me wrong if this is wrong, but it's going to be an interesting selection there, because Tony Staggs is a bit of a shock to me. But he hasn't played bad football, but whether it's going to be interesting to see the selection there. So it could be Hammer swapping for Selwyn Cobbett is the easy one. But Cherry Evans, I don't know if he'll play. They might just rest their player in one of their games and he plays 14 or something, or Cleary gets a rest and doesn't play the first game maybe. That might be what they're thinking, and that's why Cherry Evans is there. But you need to get a bit of continuity because there's only 3 games, so bit of a risk doing that. So it's going to be interesting to see if Cherry Evans gets a game or not. But yes, what I have done, I would have, to me personally, put Reece Walsh at fullback. I think he deserves his spot at fullback, even though they're saying they're different players. This is the thing. Different players, different mindsets. Reece Walsh absolutely does make mistakes, but he is an excitement machine. Where Tedesco, Dylan Edwards are not excitement machines. Kalyn Ponga is a bit of an excitement machine and has delivered as well, so you could argue that as well. If you go and Kalyn Ponga, you probably scratch your head why both aren't. One of them definitely had to be in the squad for mine. I'm not sure what happened. If Kalyn Ponga said no, Reece Walsh, though, was a bit of a shock that he wasn't in the 21 squad for mine. I think he deserved the spot. But I think what let him down is that they don't think he's going to play any other position at fullback, and they already got James Tedesco there. So that's simple why Reece Walsh wasn't there. But Kalyn Ponga could play a lot more positions. So for him to be left out as well, I'm scratching my head. I think one of those two should have been there instead of Daly Cherry for mine, because it doesn't make no sense. It really doesn't. If Nathan Cleary went down, Ben Hunt would play 7 all day, and they got Harry Grant, and they can put Ruben Cotter in 9 or whoever they need. Isaiah can play there to pinch. So they got the cover for that. So I'm just not very much don't understand that Australian jumper, but probably a player that needs to go to a level here, and he's been not the greatest this season, is Cameron Munster. He's really been poor this season for his standards, and he's probably in a way, luckily, he's still in the team, to be honest. But no one else is really saying take my place apart from maybe Ezra Mam. He's the only one that maybe you could argue maybe deserved the shotty. In on his form, maybe he deserves to be there too. Cameron Munster hasn't been. Ezra Mam has been very good this season, but if Ezra Mam continues to play like he has, in time he will be in the squad. But yes, it's just interesting selections here, leaving out Reece Walsh and Kalyn Ponga for mine, and Dylan Edwards is in that conversation as well. But again, Dylan Edwards is, well, you could play him as a prop pretty much. Dylan Edwards is probably his other option, lock. He'll have a few other options you could put Dylan Edwards, but I think he's just going to be one of those unlucky players that may never play either Origin or thing, and he's good enough. And you could probably say he has been the most consistent fullback over the last 4 years overall, all his body of work, and he can't get a gig. Tedesco has got the runs on the board, and that's why he's still there, but I think his time is coming to an end. I think this will be his last series. I'll be stunned if he gets past this series, unless he absolutely turns it around. The Roosters are like one of the top teams. Absolutely, that's what Tedesco needs to do, because I think I know he's the captain, but I think he might lose the captaincy to Cleary come next year if they have more competitions. But anyway, that's just a little talk point between those teams and the Australian team. I still think they're the team to beat tonight. Even though I'm a diehard New Zealand fan, I just really can't see. And New Zealand might not even make the final. Could be proved wrong, but I just 100% sure about Jerome Hughes. And the Kiwis' depth. The 4-pack is very good, but out wide's a big question mark. We seem to be struggling out there with the best of the best, but we'll see what team they come up with. But anyway, that's the Barry Charles Footy Show for this episode. Remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day out there.